I was born and raised in San Francisco. Yeah, I grew up in the Mission in San Francisco. And I performed, all right, some other people who can't afford to live there anymore either. It's funny, like I perform all over the country and I get this question all the time, like, oh my God, Greg, there's so many gay people in San Francisco. I don't understand how you feel comfortable there. I'm like, it's fine. I've got a nice little gay following. I love them to death. They come to all my shows. They're great. And when they realize that I'm not Rosie O'Donnell, they're going to be heartbroken. There are similarities between me and Rosie. We're both comedians. We both love pussy. And I'm pretty sure we both played at least one season of high school football, me and Rosie. Because they make you do that when you're a big dude in high school. You know, it doesn't matter if you're athletic big or fucking comic book big like I was. I sucked whole year. The coach got me benched. Last game of the season, my parents were there, got the crowd all excited. We want Greg, we want. Coach told me to get up, go find out what they wanted. I wasn't an athletic kid, you know. Like I sat on my fat ass and read. That's how I rebelled against my jock and dad and brother, I guess. You know, and as a result, I'm much fucking smarter than my dad and my brother are. My father is not a smart man. I have memories of him as a child, or me as a child with my father. And he'd go over to my mother and say, hey, tell the kids to go outside and play so we can fuck. Not a smart guy, my old man. And that shit trickled right down into my little brother. I remember one time we're walking home from school, he's all excited, he's got his report card in his hand. Greg, I got an A in reading. That's a D. So I'm really anal about spelling, you know, like it's really important to me to spell things correctly all the time. The problem is, I've got big dude hands and a little iPhone, so when I'm texting people, I end up mistyping shit quickly. Like the other day, I screwed up the C and the A, and then I had to call up my aunt and apologize. All right. Kind of a spelling crowd? All right, that's good. That's good to know. I fucking went to Pittsburgh High School, so I have no fucking... I'm amazed that I can spell any of this shit. I grew up in San Francisco, went to high school in Pittsburgh, and then ran screaming back to San Francisco for college. Because you know what's fun to do in Pittsburgh, California? Yeah, pack up and get the fuck out. That's about it. Another fun question I get when I'm traveling is, where are you from? Which I've learned in this town means you're not white, is what that fucking question means. And I'm a weird mix. I'm kind of racially ambiguous. My mother's from El Salvador. She grew up down there. My father's Armenian, grew up in Beirut. And together that makes me everything Toby Keith hates about America conveniently in one person. Like, I get it. It's a weird combination. It's like I'm the janitor, but I own the building. Like, I get it. My mom's side of the family, my Latino side, they're all up here in California taking your jobs and shit. And what's funny is that this last year for Christmas, my mom's side of the family decided we're gonna give a big family reunion in Southern California. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever, I'm not paying for the trip. I learned something. When you travel on a Hispanic family's dime, you don't take name brand planes, it turns out. I showed up to Oakland International Airport and I got to board Enrique's plane. And I got to meet the pilot, Enrique. Yeah. I got to watch him and his cousins on my luggage on the roof of the plane. It was great. And like, I feel bad for anybody who's stuck sitting next to me on a plane. I'm a big guy, I can't keep hiding that from you people. But I get to my seat and I sit down, and then this woman comes up to the seat, and I'm in the middle seat, and she's looking at me, and she's looking at her seat, and she's looking at a ticket, and she's looking at me, she's looking at the seat, looking at a ticket, looking at me, and I don't know what to do. I'm trying to like accommodate her, so I just I'm flowing into both seats on either side of me, so I kind of just like lift myself up out of her seat, because that's all I can do. And she sits down, but I have no choice. Now I have to let myself flow back on top of her. So she's got to sit there like slave girl Leia for the entire flight to Los Angeles. I got to experience something on that trip I'd never seen before growing up in fucking this part of California. I got to see my first gang fight, kind of. Like a real gang fight, not like an East Bay gang fight. Like, kind of. I rented a car at the airport in LA, at LAX, and about 5 miles away from the airport, I blew a flat tire in the rental car. And like, I'm pissed off, I'm annoyed, I roll into this parking lot, I'm frustrated. And I look at my window, and I see all these guys wearing red. I'm like, shit. I look out my other window, and I see all these guys wearing blue, and they're both coming my way. And I'm like freaking out, I'm panicking, I'm looking for my fucking West Side Story soundtrack, like. It's the only place that joke is gonna fucking work. And I don't know what to do, and then suddenly I realized that my car was stuck between a Target and a Best Buy. Everybody get that one who's gonna get it? All right, we'll keep going. I have a niece down south. She's 7 years old. She was 7 at the time. Adorable little girl, spoiled little brat, I found out. I found this out when I gave her a Christmas gift. I bought her a Barbie doll, I didn't know what the hell else to get her. And she opens it up, and she looks at me and says, Uncle Greg, where's Barbie's dream car? Yeah, that's fucked up. I had to play it off. I'm like, well, sweetheart, this is teacher Barbie. She can't afford the dream car. She has a degree in performance theater and a lot of debt. So actually, that's going to be $2. I have a nephew down there, and his parents bought him a Nintendo DS, one of those little portable video games. And he's all excited about it. He's got a Pokemon name. He's explained it to me. Apparently, Pokemon is an abbreviation for pocket monsters. Yeah, thank God. Because I would have lost my shit if I heard him yell to his mom, Mom, I'm going to go to my room and play with my pocket monster. No, sweetheart, that's what Uncle Greg is doing because he hasn't brought a girlfriend around since the divorce. Yeah, that's a fun thing I get to deal with now whenever I see my family, because I've been divorced for a few years. I got divorced. Anybody else in here been divorced? Yeah. Okay. No. Really, I feel like I got parole. You guys are not enjoying it enough. I got divorced, but like I get to hear about that now. Like I hear about it from family and all my friends, and like I was the first one to get married, so now all of my other friends are now settling down, and suddenly I'm the single friend amongst all the people getting married now. So like I'm the one who has to plan the bachelor parties. Yeah, the fucking angry single guy that's divorced. I have to get a group of grown men erect and unsatisfied as a unit. That's my job. We went, for one of my buddies, we went strip club hopping in San Francisco. There's one main drag in San Francisco. Oh, yeah. Smart men in this fucking room. Broadway Street, where all the strip clubs are at. So they have been told, clearly. And the further you go down Broadway Street, the nastier the strip clubs get. Surprise, surprise. And at one we were at, I saw something that I had never seen before. I saw, I don't know what the PC term for this is, little sexy person, I don't know what you're supposed to call them. But she was this tall, and she was pole dancing. But she's this tall, so it's like watching a lumberjack climb a tree, that kind of motion. And she gets off stage, she comes over to me and my friends. She asked me if I want a private dance. How could I say no? Beyond the fact that shit was half price, like right off the bat. Now I want to warn you guys, getting a private dance from a little person stripper is not the erotic celebration, the lollipop guild you expect it to be. It ends up being more like having a Pomeranian hump your leg. So I'm weighing the pros and cons whether or not I want to give her $1 or hit her with the Chronicle.